Hey there, welcome back to this celebration of all things Pennsylvania, my 2010 album. So I wanted to tell you the story of when I stayed in the Chelsea Hotel. Um, so as I've kind of mentioned, we recorded the bulk of Pennsylvania in 5 days in a house in the Poconos. Me, Jack Petrozelli, the producer who also played guitar and bass and keys, and just all over the album, incredible musician. And Yair Avnin, who played guitar, bass, and cello, and Ryan Thornton, who was on drums and percussion, and then Rich Lamb, who was the engineer but played some piano and melodica on the album also. So it was five of us in a house for 5 days, working like 12 to 14-hour days, cranking out all this music. It was very intense. And when we left, my plan had been to come back to New York City. Now, usually when I went to New York City at this time, I crashed with friends, or I, cat sat or dog sat, or, something like that. I'd never stayed in a hotel. But I was so like buzzy from all the work we'd done, and we'd also been five people in a house for 5 days. I just needed to like be on my own and like let it all move through me. And so I was driving through New Jersey, having no idea where I was going to stay. And out of nowhere, I thought, the Chelsea Hotel. Now, it had never in my life occurred to me to stay at the Chelsea Hotel before, like not once. So I have no idea why it came into my head that day, but I pulled over somewhere, and on my flip phone, just to date this whole experience, I somehow got the number of the Chelsea Hotel, and I called them up, and they said, we have a single room, and it was like $79 a night. So I said, okay, I'll take it. And I hung up and I got back on the road, and I thought, oh, Anne, this is dumb, right? Like, the Chelsea isn't what it used to be. It's been, you know, 30 years, 35 years since the people you admire stayed there. It's going to feel the way Soho feels, right? Like a sort of Disney version of its former self or something. But I'd made the reservation. I didn't have anywhere else to stay. So off to the Chelsea Hotel I went. And I pull up and I drag my stuff up to the front desk. I had two guitars and other equipment and stuff. And I'm ashamed to say I can't remember if the man working at the front desk was named Richard or Robert, but he was super friendly, and he said, are you a musician? I said, yes. He said, do you have an album? And I said, I just recorded one. And he said, well, then you have to send it to me, because everyone who stays here who's a musician gives me their album. And I said, I will do that. And I did, because you do not mess with the Chelsea Hotel vibes. So the second the album was done, he got his copy sent to him at the Chelsea Hotel. So they helped me up to this single room and with all my stuff. And it's literally four walls and a bed and a table and a chair and a lamp. And the man who helped me said, don't go crazy. And I was like, this is perfect. Because, sometimes when we expand and we're sort of left in a state of expansion with ourselves, it's really helpful to have like a cave for a little while. So I get settled in the room and sort of hanging out there. And it occurs to me, wait a minute, I'm at the Chelsea Hotel. I should get some pictures taken. Like, I don't have my album cover yet, and I should get some pictures taken. So I call up my friend Alice O'Malley, and she was incredible. The next day she came, it was a Saturday, and it rained all day the way it can only rain in New York City. Like, it started at 7 in the morning and it didn't stop until 10 at night, like just sheets and sheets of rain. But she came to the Chelsea Hotel with her equipment, and we did a photo shoot, which is where the cover of the album is from. And we shot in the hallways, and we shot on the stairs, and my room did have those windows that you see in the photo shoot, in the photos. And there was this teeny little julienne balcony. We shot out there. I tried to get some like rain shots, but it turns out when you get good rain shots, it's because you have an assistant pouring water on you off camera. Um, so that's how I got the cover for the album, which is so exciting. Um, but the most important thing is that the Chelsea Hotel was not a shadow of its former self. It was magical in there. It was really special, and all the years of people creating and um, writing and making music and painting and sharing ideas and inspiring each other, all of that energy was still there. You know, the halls were filled with paintings of, I think, from the artists who had lived there. There was someone down the hall playing opera with their door open, blaring at full blast. It felt like a home. It did not feel like a hotel. It felt like a home, and it felt like a creative home. And I felt so safe landing there after this intense time I'd been in. And I went and I paid homage at the door of the room where Patti Smith and Robert Mapplethorpe had lived in the early 70s. And, the Chelsea Hotel has since been bought and turned into condominiums. And they said part of it would still be a hotel, but it hasn't reopened as a hotel yet. So I'm really grateful that I had that special little moment to connect with really the history of music, art, and culture in our country when you think about all the people who've stayed there over the years. So that's my Chelsea Hotel story. And that's how I got the cover of Pennsylvania, the cover shot. And super happy to share the story with you. And stay tuned because more music is coming soon.